Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace, mercy, blessings of Almighty God be all of you. After asking by anyone which department you are reading, immediate answer, the peace and conflict studies. Immediate response is that, are you going to create conflict in society? But how funny is that? The first word, peace, you are skipping this. The first was peace and conflict then. The focal point is not the conflict, is both. We are studying here both and want to know what is the causes of peace and conflict, what is the way to establishing the peace. By the starting my word, peace, as a department of the peace and conflict studies, talking about the peace, believe in peace, my religion as peace, what about all about the peace? So now we are going to talk about the war by the Andreas Wimmer. He is actually a great academician from one of the remarkable university. So from these angles we want to see how the war seen by the Wimmer. Actually, Wimmer, what did in here? He actually reviewed the book last 2 centuries from 1816 to 2001 and 1999. Actually, there is a two part of the same coin of this book review. First of all, he wants to represent the political scientists as well as IRS scholars what think about the war. And second segment, he put emphasis about the sociological achievement, about the sociological contribution on war. There is a two side. The whole book review, there is a basis on the basic 2 points. First of all, war is as a cause. For it is one direction. এটার কারণে যুদ্ধ হচ্ছে. For example, economic reason যদি weak হয়, then war took place. Second reason may be that consequences of war. অর্থাৎ যুদ্ধের কারণে আরেকটা যুদ্ধ হচ্ছে. ফর এক্সাম্পল সেকেন্ড ওয়ার্ল্ড ওয়ারের কারণে অন্য যুদ্ধগুলো হচ্ছে. এই দুইটা বেসিক পয়েন্টকে কেন্দ্র করে উইম্মার পুরা বুক রিভিউটা প্রেজেন্ট করছেন. সো অ্যাট দ্য beginning of his what I told that method of thinking about the political scientist and IR, he focuses on the 4 basic points: legitimation power, configuration of power, organizational development, long-term trends of sociology. There is a vast discussion among this, and every part required to more than 10 minutes, but time doesn't permit me to speak about the great details. Just I will give you the next summary for you. What is war? According to the Wimmer, violent confrontation between the organizations. For one party, maybe the organization is a government, and other party not be government but organized and armed party. The limitation of this work is that he started to talking about the war only basis of this premise that war defined by the state with against armed organization, those are rebellion maybe, but other side of war, for example the genocide, riot, massive violence are excluded from this research. Swiftly moving on, he presented a figure to understood what is the brutality of the war going on in the world. 1/5 of the total countries have more than 10 years experience of the civil war, more than almost a decade. This is very fascinating for us. So now I want to see you the figure. The first of all, most prone to interested war. This segment is talking about the most prone to interested war. এই সমস্ত দেশগুলো, চায়না, ইন্ডিয়া, ইথিওপিয়া, রাশিয়া, এই সমস্ত দেশগুলোতে দেয়ার ইজ আ ইন্ডিকেটর দ্য টেরিটোরিয়াল লোকেশনস. এই দেশগুলিতে যুদ্ধ সংগঠিত হয়েছে. ফর এক্সাম্পল চায়নাতে একটা যুদ্ধ সংঘটিত হয়েছে, দ্যাটস ওয়াই দিস ইজ দ্য প্রেজেন্ট রিমার্কেশন, দিস ইজ দ্য নট অ্যানসাইন ওয়ান। সেম টাইম স্টেট পার্টিসিপেন্টস, দ্য রাইট ওয়ান। এখানে ওই সমস্ত স্টেটগুলোকে এনলিস্ট করা হয়েছে যারা যুদ্ধগুলোতে পার্টি ছিলেন। এই ডান পাশের স্ট্যাটিস্টিক একটু বড়, কারণ হচ্ছে চায়নাতে একটা ওয়ার হতে পারে, ইন্টারস্টেট ওয়ার, যেখানে 3, 4, 5টা স্টেট পার্টি কন্ট্রিবিউশন করতে পারে। যে জন্য দেখা যাচ্ছে ইউনাইটেড কিংডম 3.13 ডিকেডস যুদ্ধ করেছে, সেকেন্ড ফ্রান্স, থার্ড রাশিয়া। অ্যাট দ্য সেম টাইম যুদ্ধ সংঘটিত হয়েছে যে সমস্ত কান্ট্রিগুলোতে, চায়না ফার্স্ট, সেকেন্ড ইন্ডিয়া, থার্ড ইথিওপিয়া, ফোর্থ ভিয়েতনাম, মোস্ট অফ দেম আর ল্যাটিন আমেরিকান স্টেটস। সেকেন্ড, বি, মোস্ট প্রোন টু সিভিল ওয়ার্স। সেম থিং ইয়ার, এই সমস্ত স্টেটগুলোতে যে চায়না ফার্স্ট, আর্জেন্টিনা সেকেন্ড, মেক্সিকো থার্ড, কলম্বিয়া ফোর্থ, ওয়ার্স ডিকেড। এই এত দশক ধরে এখানে যুদ্ধগুলো হয়েছে এই রাষ্ট্রগুলোতে। আর যুদ্ধগুলো করেছে যারা, সিভিল ওয়ার যে সমস্ত দেশগুলো করেছে তারা হচ্ছে তুর্কি, চায়না, রাশিয়া, ফ্রান্স। সো দিস ইজ আ নেক্সট ফর ইউ। Actually, why sociology want to study war? উইমার এখানে দেখিয়েছেন যে মূলত সোশিওলজিক্যাল গ্যাপ বিটুইন 1 century, maybe last 2 century maybe. He said that the fall started from the classical sociologists, Marx to Durkheim. What they believe that the war may be in near future go thrown out from the world, because the modernization, economic growth, development, prosperity ensure the world unipolar system all are establish the economic establishment as well as to remove the war-prone state system and present the peaceful condition. But history already disproved this figure. The first segment of the cause of war is actually basically the interested war. What I said that the causes of war. এই অধ্যায়তে মূলত, এই চ্যাপ্টারে মূলত উইমার দেখিয়েছেন যে ওয়ার অ্যাজ এ ওয়ান ডিরেকশন। ফর এক্সাম্পল, ইকোনমিক ডিপ্রাইভেশন যদি স্টেটে থাকে তাইলে ওয়ার হয়। দিস ইজ দ্য কজাল ডিরেকশন। ইউ নো বেটার অ্যাবাউট দ্য স্ট্যাটিস্টিক্যাল টার্ম। দেয়ার ইজ আ টু প্রমিনেন্ট থিওরি, ফর এক্সাম্পল হিজেমনিক পাওয়ার ডমিনেশন। উইমার দেখিয়েছেন যে যদি একটা সেঞ্চুরিতে কোনো একটা ইমার্জিং হিজেমনিক পাওয়ার হয় তাহলে সেখানে ইন্টারেস্টেড ওয়ার হওয়ার সম্ভাবনা বেশি। সো এখানে ইমার্জেন্স অফ হিজেমনিক ওয়ার ইজ এ ওয়ান ডিরেকশন অফ কজাল। এইটার কারণে যুদ্ধ হচ্ছে। দিস ইজ দ্য প্রাইম অফ দিস রিভিউ, দ্যাট ইউ শুড আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড দ্যাট হোয়াট ইজ দ্য কজাল ডিরেকশন। যুদ্ধ হচ্ছে ফর হোয়াট? হিজেমনিক পাওয়ার আপরাইভাল। Second is that bipolar versus multipolar world. We may argue that bipolar world is more prone to took place the interested war rather than the multipolar world. উনি বুঝাতে চাচ্ছেন যে মাল্টিপোলার ওয়ার্ল্ডে মূলত সেন্টার অফ দ্য পাওয়ার ইজ সেগমেন্ট দ্য ডিফারেন্ট সেন্টার অফ দ্য ওয়ার্ল্ড। দ্যাটস ওয়াই it's very much tricky and difficult to wage war without any confirmation. What does America still doing today for the unipolar world? We are already seeing in Syria context as well as Afghan context, Iran context. And then he looks to the review that how to prevent war. There is a two prominent theory. There is a lot of theory. I only give the summary there from here. Globalization versus free market. One scholar argue that globalization will ensure the systematic control of preventing war. At the same time, another school of thought believe that free market economy will ensure the system of the economic recycling. That's why the whole world will under the peaceful condition in the context of the economic stability, then will war eradicate from the world. The second thing is the democratic peace theory. You are the most famous of this theory, where we know that the democratic peace theory establishes the peace through which the practicing of the democracy. For example, we are fight each other not in the context of the arm, rather in the context of the ballot paper. So there is a severe test we are feeling now in Bangladesh in the context of the democratic peace theory. Actually, this is there is no ultimate criteria. What is the democracy actually? There is a lot of division in the democracy. What is a true democracy, full democracy? There is a criteria democracy. There is a lot of debate. You can go through this to check there. The second term is that for the first segment is a civil war. Why civil war took place? There is a two argument. For example, the political legitimacy versus military opportunity. What is the political legitimacy? Political legitimacy, it actually indicates that if any government have not any legal authority to conduct and rule over these people, then this is the illegitimate. Then what the people want to do, that they rebel against these people to blow out this government, to establish their right-based judge. Such kind of activities actually more prone to take place the civil war in the country. At the same time, other scholars argue that the military opportunity, without military opportunity, the political legitimacy, this is the not only cause to take place war. Because of that, what is military opportunity doing that? For example, in the context of the Myanmar, what the people are doing, that they are not fighting the government against Myanmar because they have not any confrontation with any linkage with the military opportunity. At the other side, what is the Syrian people are doing right now? One of the most terrible autocratic regime are going on from the very early beginning of the late 19th century, late 20th century, but people have the linkage of the power in the context of arms, ammunition, resource. What is the most part of this review wanted to cover, that যদি রিসোর্স না থাকে, যদি আর্মস এমিউনিশন না আসে, যদি রিভিলিয়ন লিডাররা যদি মনে না করতে পারে যে উই হ্যাভ ব্যাকিংস উইথ দ্য কন্টেক্সট অফ দ্য রিসোর্স, এমিউনিশনস, ইন্টারন্যাশনাল লিঙ্কেজ and so on. Without this context, only political illegitimacy not take place the civil war. Second part of this analysis, actually Wimmer wanted to focus on the four basic pillars. I already mentioned that. What is the sociological aspect to wage war? First of all, legitimacy. This is as a war as a cause. For example, shifting from imperial to nationalistic principles. In such principles, I want to explain that. Shifting from imperial to nationalistic principles. What is that? When the configuration of the power is shift from the imperialistic to democracy, then the political turmoil is heavily took place in the country. That's why the war took place. In the sense that people have emerged one of the sense that nationalism. For example, without nationalism in Afghan, there is a huge study that 2003 survey, Afghan people are more illegitimate, thinking the Western, before came the Western power in Afghanistan, Afghan people was not such radical what now we seen in this history. So domestic power configurations, for example, this is a political struggle over the state power. This is the main theme of this domestic power configuration. Without the struggling of the political power, this is very much hard to take place the war, both civil and interested war. The third thing is that organizational development. Organizational development means that state have a capacity to taxation, administrative capacity to handle the war, to wage the war, to finance the war. At the same time, a state have one very interesting argument present by the Wimmer, that if a state have a strong administrative power to take the tax from these mass people, then what is do? It's more able to do the interested war. It will more able to gain the another state. It will more able to control the people, and at the same time it will more able to create the tax. There is a recycling process is going on. Actually, this imagination does not take place in the history. There is a hardly history about that, such kind of. It's maybe before the democratic process came, especially before the Second World War, maybe such kind of argument logical we can think that. Last of all is that, before the last of all, welfare state and citizenship. This is a positive notion of the war. This maybe says the consequences. There is a two segment I before mentioned that. Cause and consequences. Consequences means that war is the consequences of the war, from the war. For example, after the Second World War, this is the another logical ground to wage war. Why? Because the welfare state, after the Second World War, this is very much logical to welfare state and citizenship. Why? The history tells us that whenever the interstate civil war, interstate war is going on in the country, then the people want to blow out this government to establish a right, justice, liberty, freedom, and what other we believe that the rights of 21st century, human rights as the basic rights, women rights, civil liberty rights, political rights, such kind of rights only ensure after the taking place of the war. So very interesting. So in this context we can say that now we are hoping to war take place in Bangladesh, even though we know that what is the terrible result of taking place war in any territory of the world. What now we are feeling, tasting, bittering in the context of the Syria, where the thousands of the people must are killed by the both side, the government side, international linkage. They don't care about the international norms, rules, regulations. Without caring such kind of norms, they only believe that we have power to carry the war, to gain our right, to winning our right, to establish our dominance in the world, to dominate the other people, to establish our belief, our system, or imposed by the others. So such kind of, there is actually huge debate about the welfare state and citizenship actually is a cause of war, or it actually the consequences of further war. Example, the civil war, example, the interstate war. So there is the last segment. Wimmer concluded that actually history is very much diverse. There is no unique pattern to identify. It's most difficult to identify because long-term survey, long-term research, long-term observation is very much interesting and very much comprehensive to see what is going on that particular country. But now the political scientists, international relations scholars want to do that. The specific actors-based decision-making process took out to prove their theory, their way of world and other things. But we must argue that from this basic point that we must say that from this long term of consequence patterns, we are unable to identify actually such kind of statistical base, analytical base, where the quantitative research based data not confirm us such kind of unique pattern. Why wage war? Why interstate war is going on? Why state? What configuration of the military forces establish the war? How kind of economic instability more prone to interstate war or civil war? Wimmer concluded that we should look comprehensive rather than unique causal one. For example, after the Second World War, war took place for this reason. This is only one direction. Wimmer proposed that we should go further with a comprehensive research. For example, there is not only one direction causal statistical analysis. We need two statistical analysis. War is a causes of war. At the same time, war is a consequences from other motives. And both causal direction maybe have some other effects. So in such kind of interesting things are fulfilled about the Wimmer's word. I already gave you the sum of. So thanks everyone to passion with me. Thanks especially sir to give me the motions, such kind of interesting things to present before you. Thanks everyone.